Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word Now. This season's driver market has been the most open and unpredictable in years, leading to driver lineup changes right at the front of the grid, and that in turn has had a knock-on effect in the midfield, with many lineups looking likely to change for 2019. However, as a result, some drivers are going to find themselves without a seat next season, most notably Esteban Ocon. Following Lawrence Stroll's acquisition of Force India, it is widely expected that Lance Stroll will be making the switch to the team from Williams, possibly even before the end of this season. And it has been widely reported over the last few weeks that Sergio Perez will be staying at the team, although at time of recording this, despite assurances from Checo that his future would be made clear before Singapore, there has been no official announcement. So, with that avenue looking to be closing off, is this really the end of the road for Esteban Ocon? Well, in terms of Formula One, his future does look very bleak. Toto Wolff has been very open about the fact that Ocon is unlikely to be on the grid next season, and even launched a scathing attack live on Sky, of course, at teams who he described as not having the balls to stand by contract offers. Most likely referring to Renault and possibly McLaren, as both apparently look set to land the Frenchman at different points over the summer. But both turned down that opportunity, with Renault of course poaching Daniel Ricciardo and McLaren choosing to go with their own youngster, Lando Norris. And if you throw into the mix that Red Bull have said they won't take Ocon for Toro Rosso because of those Mercedes ties, and Haas have basically said the same, it's pretty clear to see why it looks increasingly likely that we are set to lose yet another top young talent with bags of potential from the grid. Looking through the field, the most viable option is probably Williams. They already have, obviously, those Mercedes ties themselves, and with Lance Stroll set to leave by the end of the season at the latest, they do have a seat available. In fact, Williams have yet to confirm whether or not Sergei Sirotkin will stay for 2019, and so may well have two seats available. However, despite all of that, even a move to Williams is looking unlikely. It does look as though the team are looking at either retaining Sergei Sirotkin or taking on Artem Markelov, both of whom, of course, come with big Russian backing. And according to many reports over the last couple of weeks, George Russell, another Mercedes man, is favourite to take the other seat. Now, I like George Russell, I really do. What he's done in F2 this year has been fantastic, and he deserves all the praise he's getting for it. That is a massively competitive field, and he is doing a great job. However, the idea that he can take a seat over Esteban Ocon is ridiculous, and really does raise the question, does Toto know how to manage young drivers? I'd argue no, he clearly does not. Ocon has shown that he is quick and is more than capable of delivering solid, consistent points-scoring performances. This being his second full year in the sport. Obviously, he did complete half a season with Manor back in 2016. So why is Russell the favourite for the seat if there is a driver with proven ability and experience available? It's baffling. Okay, it might come down to wages. There is no doubt that Ocon will want paying more than Russell, and rightly so. But surely there can be some arrangement put in place between Williams and Mercedes to keep Esteban on the grid. The latter are hardly struggling for cash, are they? Toto Wolff has been very vocal about his support for Esteban and his belief in the young Frenchman's talent. And that's great, fantastic even. But if he is so sure of what Esteban can do, why has he not taken a chance and put him in that Mercedes, like Ferrari have with Charles Leclerc? And like Red Bull did with Max Verstappen and are doing again with Pierre Gasly. Hell, even McLaren are taking a punt and giving Lando Norris a shot. Although you could probably argue they have a lot less to lose. But after his rant about what he described as hidden agendas and lies, he said about Esteban Ocon, and I quote, "One day he will win races and championships in a Mercedes." And during that interview, or that rant if you like, with Sky Sports, Wolff also went back on what he said previously and insisted that he would not release the Frenchman from the Mercedes driver programme just to improve his chances of grabbing a seat. I think his quote was something like "not in a million years" or "not a chance in hell." So, won't take a chance and put him in that Mercedes, won't release him to give him a better chance of finding a race seat for 2019, and also looks to be negotiating with Williams about putting George Russell in that car. Do you see the problem and why so many, including me, believe that Toto just can't manage young drivers? Everything he is deciding contradicts what he's saying about Ocon's talent and how badly he really wants him to stay in F1. I mean, look, I will defend Toto Wolff for a moment though. He claims that back in July there were two contract offers on the table for Esteban Ocon. As I mentioned earlier, one of those was apparently Renault, and the other was possibly McLaren, although once again, there has been no official word on that. Now, Valtteri Bottas' contract extension was announced by Mercedes on July 20th. So if Toto Wolff believed that Ocon had options for 2019, and it was just a case of making a choice and signing on the dotted line, perhaps that explains why he didn't give him the nod for next season. Maybe, just maybe, if Ocon wasn't set to sign a deal elsewhere, he would have signed him to partner Lewis Hamilton for 2019. Of course, though, that is all speculation and we will never know. So whilst Toto can direct his anger at teams for not jumping at the chance to sign Ocon, the truth is he and Mercedes can only really blame themselves for not waiting for deals to be completed and knowing 100% that he would have a seat for next season. But that's not all. Many are directing their anger at drivers dubbed as pay drivers such as Lance Stroll, Marcus Ericsson and Sergei Sorokin. And whilst you can understand how they are easy targets, the fact of the matter is that it's the state of Formula One that is causing these issues. Pay drivers have been a part of Formula One since forever, and that will never change. Even if the money gets sorted and is distributed more evenly, a team lower down the grid will surely still jump at the chance for a few extra million quid in their back pocket. After all, these teams are businesses and need to make money. To take what Ross Brawn said about DRS and apply it to these drivers with big backing seems harsh, but it's kind of true and kind of how I feel about pay drivers these days. They are a necessary evil in Formula One. Without them, we could have lost Force India this season, and there is the huge possibility that Williams could be on the brink of collapse as well. And that would take us down to 8 teams, 16 cars, or to put it another way, more than just the talent of Esteban Ocon lost from the grid. People don't like them, but pay drivers keep teams afloat, and we need all the teams currently on the grid to survive. Also, the big teams on the grid have had a huge hand in sending F1 down this road. By spending so much in a bid to dominate and refusing to budge in a bid to help the struggling teams down the years, that has forced everyone into a corner, if you like, and it's going to take one hell of a fight to get out of it. Are Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull really going to give up their financial advantage to help the likes of Williams and Force India survive? Don't count on it. But anyway, back to Esteban Ocon and the crux of this video. The truth is, it doesn't look as though he will be racing in F1 next season unless Toto Wolff can throw some insane offer at Williams that they just can't knock aside. And if Ocon isn't on the grid next year, it will be an absolute travesty, a disgrace, particularly when you look at some of the bang average drivers in that midfield that will be in F1 in 2019. An absolute disgrace. And okay, maybe Toto is looking at getting him in a seat for 2020. But a year in F1 is a long time and drivers are easily forgotten when the next big thing starts to show what they can do. So if Ocon doesn't get a seat for next year, it could well be the end of the Frenchman's Formula One career. The sad fact is though, Esteban won't be the first and certainly will not be the last seriously good talent to grace the sport and find himself without a drive in the, quote, pinnacle of motorsport, where apparently the best drivers go to race. I'll admit it's quite a bleak end to the video, but the sport is littered with examples of drivers who should have or should be on the grid, but found themselves with no option but to race in another series. And the rather depressing fact, for want of a better term, is that with the way F1 is at the moment, and the hole it's dug itself into, it's only going to get worse. That is it from me, and as ever they were just my thoughts and my opinions on the Esteban Ocon situation, but what are yours? Do you think he will be on the grid for 2019? And if not, where do you see him racing next year? Could it be Formula E, for example? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Now, I will be back live at 6 PM UK time tomorrow for our usual Sunday stream, where I'm pretty sure all this silly season stuff will be discussed even more. It seems to be the way of things around the sport at the moment. In the meantime, though, you can follow me on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.